Hey friend, welcome to another episode of Reawaken Your Voice. Have you ever felt burned out and uninspired on your creative journey? Like maybe you just haven't felt like singing. Maybe you haven't felt like you have much to say, so the songs just aren't flowing the way they once did. Or maybe you're like me, where you're working on a creative project that's starting to feel like you're trudging through mud instead of riding a wave. Maybe you're just bored. If you're going through this right now, then you are in the right place, because in today's episode, I'm sharing 10 of my favorite ways to rekindle that creative spark and get re-inspired on your vocal journey so you can go from stagnant to flowing again. Welcome to Reawaken Your Voice. I'm Lainey Prendeville Crawford, holistic voice coach, singer, song weaver. I believe the song in your heart holds medicine for yourself and for the world. And yet too often, something happens along the way. We shut down our voice and our song goes unsung. Whether you stopped singing years ago or have always harbored an unrealized dream to start, if you're ready to finally give voice to those unsung songs in your heart, then take my hand as I guide you to free yourself from the inner critic, reignite your creativity, find your courage, sing with confidence, and reawaken those dormant parts of yourself aching for a revival. So dust off your songbooks, tune up your guitar, bust out your singing bowls, your shakers, your drum. Actually, all you really need is your voice, your breath, open ears, and an open heart. Let's play. As much as we would love to live in a state of creative flow, the artist's journey isn't always a constant stream of inspiration. You know, we have things blocking us, hindering our progress, distractions, real life obstacles, these things that pop up along the path that may throw us off course or lead us on a detour or cause us to rethink everything altogether. What I've found as an essential companion for every artist's journey is a personal toolkit that we can pull out when the going gets tough. This is something that each individual gathers along their vocal journey, and it's made up of exercises, practices, creative activities, these things that are tried and true ways to open the voice, access creative flow, keep moving forward on the path. So it's almost like you're creating your own custom designed medicine bag as you go. Like it's full of these remedies that help you get back into flow, get re-inspired, get back into alignment, and reconnect with your singing voice. So as you go along your path and you're gathering, collecting, learning things about your voice and your creativity and who you are as an artist and who you are as a human, pay attention to what works for you. Take note of what works for you, because these are the things you're gathering and collecting and putting in this toolkit that is yours alone. So take what works and leave the rest. Here are some of my favorite ways to get re-inspired and get back into creative flow. So these are things that have worked for me and things that you can play with and see if they may work for you too. And then you can place them in your toolkit and keep going on your journey. So I've been experiencing a bit of this myself recently. Just feeling disconnected from my art. And it's not the first time by any means. I mentioned in the intro that the creative project I'm working on has started to feel like I'm trudging through mud instead of riding this wave of creative flow. So I pulled out my own toolkit of these practices that I've gathered and collected over the years, and the remedies I tapped into have worked wonders to help me realign. There were some aha moments, some unexpected surprises, and some moments of like, well, duh, of course, here we are again. And all of these things have led me to the realization that I'm working on the wrong project. I've been working on recording a bunch of old songs that I wrote well over a decade ago. And I've just been trying to find some closure, like create an archive of these songs, just so that I have them. And it's like a snapshot of that part of my life. But every time I go to work on it, it just feels so lifeless. Like there's nowhere to go with it. Like there's no momentum, no creative energy pulsing through them. They feel like dead works. And I keep feeling myself drawn to these newer songs I've been writing over the past couple years. And when I indulge my inspiration, I find that these songs are full of creative juice. Like I'm feeling these songs so deeply right now. The ones that I've written over the past couple years and that are coming to me in the here and now. These songs are just flowing. Like transitions are writing themselves. New lyrics are emerging. I find myself like wanting to sneak away whenever I get a moment to just play through that new verse that showed up. So this has led me to the realization that the archiving project must be put on hold. And the real work on my first album must be put on the front burner. Why is it that the most important thing to our creative journey, like the thing that could create the deepest amount of transformation, is always the thing we put on the back burner? At least that's the case for me. It's as if I'm saving the thing I really want to do for later. Like once I deserve it, or once I'm ready for it, or once it's the right time, or whatever other nonsensical excuses my mind can come up with. That could be a whole episode in and of itself. Yeah. But I arrived at this revelation through many of the methods I'm going to be sharing with you today. So, in no particular order, here are some ideas, 10 ideas, to not only get those creative juices flowing again, but also to get some clarity around where to direct your creative energy in the here and now. Number 1, take a prayer walk. This is just a walk that allows you to clear your mind, get that energy flowing through your body physically, and you're meditating on a question that's on your heart, or the circumstance or situation that you're in, or that creative project you're working on. It's on your heart, and you're open to receiving guidance on it. When I do these prayer walks, I'm opening up a conversation with God, and there is nothing more powerful than that. Number 2, free flow writing and journaling. This is another way to access that inner voice. Open up a conversation between your human self and your intuition, your human self and God, the ultimate creator. And if you get a new journal and some new fun pens, that's a bonus. So it's a way to reconnect with yourself, reconnect with that inner voice, and open your heart to receive guidance. Number 3, nature. Get out into nature. Maybe there's a special spot by the water or your favorite tree. Just being surrounded by life, by natural creations, can do so much for your energy and for your headspace. And even I'm thinking about if you live in nature, wow, what a beautiful thing. But maybe it could be the opposite for you. Like, visit a bustling city and see what that stirs up in you. Number 4, move your body. Move stuck energy. You can combine this with other things, with like your prayer walk or being out in nature. You can start to stack these on top of each other and see how powerful it can be. But going hiking or swimming is something that is moving your physical body and freeing up space within. Number 5, play around with a different instrument. So something other than your voice. Experiment with it, play with it, see what inspiration it holds for you. Sometimes it's just a matter of tapping into the music inside of you in another form and seeing what the voice of that instrument can bring through you. Number 6, experiment with or explore a different art form altogether. So if music is your go-to art form, if singing is your creative activity of choice, and you're feeling burned out and uninspired, well, try something like painting or photography. These are other forms of expression. Like, there are so many ways you could do this. Ceramics, dancing. Oh, dancing. I love that one. And then, you can stack that because it's like move your body and it's an expressive art. So that should be one in and of itself, dancing. But yes, any kind of expressive art form that's different from your primary instrument or your primary form of expression. To just switch it up and play with how your voice can show up through different forms. Number 7, travel. Now, this is not always possible. So by this, I also mean break your routine, go to a new place. It's just a shift. It's something different. It's stirring something different up in you. You know, I wrote something when my husband and I were traveling, and it feels very relevant to what we're talking about right now. Traveling, changing your routine, experimenting with different art forms. So I'm going to share that with you. During periods of extended travel such as this, my piano and guitar are traded for my camera and a pen. My heart aches at the sight of a guitar hanging dusty on the wall of a cafe, or an empty piano bench tucked into the corner of a guest house, longing to sit down and let my voice be free. But I treasure the opportunity to channel creative energy in other ways, because something magical happens when we step away from the familiar to explore the unknown. New perspectives open to us. Infinite possibility returns. Life comes back into focus. Songs emerge from photos, and melodies spring from words scribbled rhythmically on a page. As artists, it is so important to allow all parts of our creative spirit to breathe. When was the last time you finger painted? Or sang at the top of your lungs on a swing? Or danced alone in your room just because it makes you feel alive? When was the last time you allowed the contents of your mind to spill out unabridged onto a blank canvas or an empty page without the preconceived notion that whatever came out must qualify as art with a capital A? We put so much pressure on ourselves with our beloved medium of choice, of calling, that sometimes it can be a breath of fresh air to just let ourselves play. Lately, I've found myself singing in caves, channeling music from the depths of my core as the walls echo my truth back to me. It has been healing, to say the least, a deeply profound remembering of who I am, who I have always been, to say more. Art takes whatever form is available to it. Creative energy flows through the path of least resistance. During times in my life when I resisted my voice, blocked by fear, ravaged by tears, or swollen with the ones I held in, I found refuge at my piano. When I felt like I wasn't strong enough to look fear in the eyes, I viewed the world through the safety of my camera lens. And slowly but surely, it was from this refuge, this fertile ground, that my songs emerged. Let your creative spirit express itself however it can, in whatever form it wants, wherever life has brought you in this moment. This pulsing flow of energy will always carry you back home, wherever home may be for you. Number 8, listen to a singer who inspires you and whose voice resonates with you. This can be live or recorded, but I find that when I listen to other people singing, other people doing what I love, and it touches something in me, it moves something in me, that makes me want to do it. Like, makes me want to jump into my songs and sing. Number 9, play around with a new genre. So for this one, you are singing and making music, but you're doing it differently. You're trying a new genre or a new style. Not long ago, I found myself playing with my voice, and I started experimenting with yodeling. Like, just playing, having fun, experimenting with my voice, seeing what sounds I could create. And that was just a creative, playful exercise of trying something and seeing where it took me. So while I have not trained extensively in yodeling, although that would be cool, I just let myself play with a different style, a different genre. That can be enough to just shake things up a little bit. Number 10, rearrange your creative space. I just did this with my office the other day, and let me tell you, I'm feeling like a new woman. It is energetically so refreshing to just shift the environment that you're creating in. So if you don't have a creative space, maybe set something up, even if it's just one little corner, one little chair, something that feels meaningful and inspiring to you. And maybe you want to shift that creative space outside into nature, under that tree, from one of the other ideas. We can tap into the energy of our physical environment and play around and shift that. And we can also do that with our internal environment, which you find in some of these other ideas like writing and playing around with different instruments and different art forms. We're going within. So I think it's a mixture of external factors and internal factors. I feel like they go hand in hand, and all of that helps to support a refreshing revitalization of your creativity. So after trying some of these and shifting the energy, getting into a new headspace, you can return to the project you're working on, or whatever is right before you, right in front of you, and you can reassess. You can see it with new eyes. That could mean that you pivot. It could mean you change directions altogether. Or it could show you something you weren't seeing before. And from that, you can derive your next step. So play with these ideas. Take what works for you. Leave the rest. And hopefully you can find one or two things to add to your toolkit on your creative journey. And if you'd like a little extra dose of inspiration, check out my free workshop. It is a 1-hour guided singing practice designed to help you rekindle that creative spark and find your voice again. You can check that out at reawakenyourvoice.com/workshop. May your voice and creativity flourish. Hey friend, thank you so much for listening. If this episode unlocked something in you or moved you in some way, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're streaming this, and share this episode with a friend who's been praying for a vocal breakthrough. Until we meet again, keep nurturing that song in your heart. Lots of love.